Hey guys, what's going on? So today we are going to be checking out another one of the new Astromons Loki. This was the new natural 4-star that they added in the last update along with the natural 5-star Odin here, which we went over yesterday. But today we're checking out the new NAT4 Loki. Pretty cool looking little dude here, gets looking a bit classy, looking a bit sharp at Evo 3 here, quite nice. Tiny little pupil dude there, do your fucking homework. But yeah, as always, we're gonna start out with the fire one here. Looks like he's a sapper. Pure sapper, 80% chance on his 3-star skill, 1 sap, 2 turns, not in anything special. And his 5-star skill is the same as Yuki's, 60% chance, 2 types, 2 turns. So he's essentially a little bit better than Yuki. Yuki has a 60% chance here, he has an 80% chance. She has 2 types of sap for 1 turn, he has 1 type of sap for 2 turns. So it's essentially the same amount of saps, but he has a slightly higher chance on his 3-star skill. So he's a little bit better than Yuki as a sapper, but I definitely wouldn't go replacing your Yuki for him just because of those 20% there. All around he's good, he's a good sapper, but he is balance type, which actually isn't optimal for sappers. I typically prefer them to be either tanks or defenders, because they will be doing most of their damage with sap and not with actual attacks, or at least that's how they should be. But regardless, a good sapper. Gym-wise, I'd probably go HP defense. Typically on balance types, I go HP attack defense, make them balanced. But with full-fledged sappers like this, I typically go defensive, because the sap damage will kind of make up for the not as much attack. And since you're mostly going to be bringing sappers into bosses like golems and starstones and such, then the sap damage really will do a lot more than an attack gym or something, so having more survivability there is always better in my opinion. Here's his variant form. Honestly, not really liking the blue, purple, weird velvet sort of color scheme going on here. I don't think velvet's a color, or is it? Or is violet? I don't know, I'm retarded. Leader skill is quite good, straight up defense by 30 to 35%. Doesn't need to be anywhere special, doesn't need to be any special elements, so just a straight defense buff. Probably not as good as an HP buff or an attack buff because of the defense changes, yeah, you know. But it's still one of the better leader skills for sure. We're gonna be moving on to the water Loki now. He looks like an attacker with interesting hunter 3-star skill. That's quite strange, but I'm sure it can work. He also has Thirst on his 5-star skill, which procs at a 100% chance as long as it's a critical, which it should be anyway because of the hunter and because he's an attacker. Thirst actually isn't too bad of a skill. I have a Fire Nightmare which has Thirst on her 5-star skill as well, and honestly it does do quite a lot in Astromon League at least. That's where I mainly use her. It's honestly not bad in like golems too with the minions if you have some tough minions there. And it takes you more than a couple turns to kill the minions, then Fire Nightmare can get off her skill and they won't be able to do their actives and you might be able to save a guy from dying or whatever. But mainly I think it's mainly for Astromon League when you're gonna have a more tanky team where people actually are gonna get to the point in the battle where there are actives going off, and Thirst may save the battle or turn it in your favor if one of the actives on the enemy side can't go off. And it would be a 100% chance AoE, 30%, 2 turns. So it's not bad, definitely not a bad 5-star skill. He's an attacker, has Hunter 3-star, all around pretty solid unit. I think he can be built really well. Very nice attack stat for level 40 Evo 3. HP is honestly rocking as well. Defense obviously extremely low, lower than usual attackers are as far as I know. See, Anu for example has like 5k less HP but also about like 200 more defense. Vampire also lower HP but higher defense. Water Nike here actually has really good stat distributions, pretty good defense, and pretty decent HP as well, just a teeny tiny bit lower attack. Most of the hit is taken in recovery. But all around, in my opinion, Water Loki's stat distribution is really good. He has a lot more HP than the typical attacker does, around the same amount of attack, maybe a tiny bit lower than average. But yeah, he has way lower defense than usual, but that's made up with the HP, and I think HP is better. Also, recovery is pretty low, but who cares about recovery? I would gym him the typical way I gym attackers, especially attackers which have hunter skills and skills that require critical hits to work, so it's very obvious you need to get him to as close to 100% critical as possible. Building crit rate, attack on the ruin set. Since his 3-star skill does increase critical hit damage by 50%, it may not be a bad idea to go on the intuition set to get that extra 20% crit rate instead of the 40% extra crit damage. If you are having trouble getting to at least 90% crit rate, I'd say you should at least have around 90. And if you can't get there, grab the intuition set instead of the ruin, because he will be doing 50% more crit damage most of the time anyway, just from this skill. It's definitely also a thought to swap out one of the attacks with an HP to give him more survivability. He does have very high natural HP for an attacker type, so taking advantage of that with an HP gem definitely is a thought. Here's his variant form. Honestly looks almost exactly the same. Colors are changed just a teeny tiny bit, or maybe they're changed a lot, or like put in different places. I have no idea, it's kind of weird. Whatever, moving on to the wood one. So wood one looks like a death breaker and a put to sleeper, whatever the hell. 3-star skill, 70% chance, death down, 2 turns. Good chance there, decent chance for a natural 4-star. I'd say that should be about how much a natural 4-star should have. I know a lot of the natural 4-stars have 60% chance, and I think that's a little bit too low for a natural 4-star. 70% in my opinion should be where it's at. And it's the same with sleep, 70% chance AoE sleep. Sleep isn't quite as good as stun, especially if you're on auto battle. It depends on his active animation, how slow or fast it is. Because if he does it and then someone else does their active, for example, everyone's gonna wake up and basically it's useless, you know? But on manual, for example, you could just do it last and it would essentially act as stun. So yeah, sleep is pretty much as good as stun in manual combat as long as you use them last. I'm not really sure who would auto battle tough Astromon League fights. And since I can't imagine this is where this unit would shine most with his AoE sleep, that's probably where he'd be used most. And I'm just saying, if you can auto Astromon League, it probably won't matter if his active goes off first and then someone else is active and they wake up, because, you know, you have to be a lot stronger than your opponent to just hit auto and forget about it, you know? But anyway, he is a defender. Looking at his stats, he doesn't have very much HP for a defender, honestly, but a bit more average defense, it looks like. A tiny bit more average attack, I guess. But yeah, pretty low HP. Gym-wise, it's definitely an option to take advantage of the higher than usual defense and go defense HP, but then you really gotta watch out for defense breakers and really hope he doesn't get defense broken, because then he's going to be pretty fragile. If you are planning on going for 2 defense gyms, make sure to try and get a decent resist substat on every gym. Try and get his resist to at least 50 to 70% or something, because defense down will destroy him. Set wise, I'd probably recommend the HP or defense set or a broken set. I'm using a lot more broken sets in the recent days than I was before, just because I can pick whatever gyms I want to. I can pick whatever substats on the gyms I want to, etc. My only real exception is when I'm going for the Ruin or Intuition set. I think those are kind of the 2 sets which it's really worth it to go for this set, you know? Maybe the Conviction set, so the Resist set also, but the Attack, Defense, and HP and all those other sets, I think this 20% is a nice bonus, but if you need to use mediocre gyms with mediocre substats, then that 20% really doesn't pay off. Taking a look at his variant form here, it's very much different, looks like the water one now. But yeah, regardless, we're moving on to the almost non-obtainable light and dark ones. Starting with the light one, actually looking pretty good. Attack and defense break. Unfortunately, this attack break is only for 1 turn, but it is still 70%. I'm not sure why they would make it only for 1 turn when it has the same percentage as the wood Lokis on his 3-star skill. That definitely cuts the value a bit when it's only for 1 turn, but I can still see it being useful. Attack down's always useful, it can be used everywhere. Astromon League, golems, dragons, whatever. And then he has AoE defense down. I typically prefer defense down on the 3-star skill, but AoE defense down is still good, can still definitely be useful. 70% is alright, it is AoE, so if you have like 3-4 enemies there, most likely at least 2 or 3 of them are going to be defense downed, and then you can pick off your targets like that. So it's definitely not bad, all around solid unit. For this one, gym-wise, since he is balanced and doesn't have any skills that are either sap or call for any special stat. He is a debuffer though, so it might be a good idea to build him a little bit more tanky perhaps, because he probably will be a pretty important part of the team, having attack down and defense down. Regardless, I would still go HP, attack, defense. Another option would be HP, defense, and resist, because he is a light type and will have naturally 0% resist, so it's definitely an option if you want to keep away from those debuffs, which who doesn't want to keep away from debuffs? Debuffs are bad, they hurt you and stuff. So yeah, those are just my thoughts. Here's his variant form, turns into the water one again. Moving on to the dark. Dark Loki looks pretty interesting, has this new seal skill here, 70% chance, 2 turns. Not bad, not bad. Seal is a pretty powerful skill used on the right Astromons. Never really been a fan of HP aggression, that's why I'm not really using my Dark Horan anymore. But then again, with the defense down changes, they may be more powerful than defense aggressors now. I'm not too sure. Haven't really thought about it all that much. And I'm sure Dark Horn can be built pretty well. And the fact he is a dark type, he will have 100% crit damage. He is kind of like Dark Horn, actually. But he does have Seal on his 3-star skill, so that's definitely a bonus. I would say he's mostly going to be used in Astromon League as a tank and as a sealer, but all around not a bad unit at all. I would actually build him crit rate HP to take advantage of his tank status and to take advantage of the fact he's a dark type and should have 100% crit damage, so he should be able to do actually quite a bit of damage while being survivable, similar to Dark Kraken. He probably won't do that much damage on his 3-star skill, but that purpose is to seal an enemy, take away their skills, and then his AoE is where the damage comes in. So all around pretty solid units. They are honestly not too special, not any of them to be perfectly honest, but actually I quite like that, because if every unit were to be more powerful than the other units, there would be that much pressure to get them and to have them and to raise them, and that's what we call power creep, and I never really liked that in previous games I was playing. I think I mentioned that a couple videos ago or something, so I'm happy they're not really doing that. I know the Shuras here, I just got this one a 6-star. Most of them are quite powerful. This is a 2-turn stun as long as you have critical. That was a little bit of a power creep there, I think, because I don't think we've ever seen a 2-turn stun on a 3-star skill at 100% rate even. I think actually the Fire Lat had that, but it's 40% chance, so yeah. But yeah, I guess that'll do it for the Loki review. Tell me what you think about them in the comments below. Also tell me, have you summoned one already? What is your favorite? Personally, my favorite's gotta be the water one, just because I can see the damage potential there, and I'm just a damage junkie. I like doing lots of damage. So I'd probably be most excited to get one of those, and Thirst can definitely be useful in Astromon League also. But yeah, what do you guys think about them? Also, leaving a like down below would be greatly appreciated if you did happen to enjoy the video. Thanks, as always, for watching, and until next, Scubbus.